Hey, welcome to the Outdoor Adventure Hour. This is actually going to be a really interesting episode for our podcast. So, one of the things that any outdoor adventure person wants is a really good deal, right? So, when you're looking for that great deal and you want to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck, the problem is the scammers are out there, and I don't want to just say they're out there. I mean, they're really out there. They have set up their own web pages, and they've set up groups on Facebook, and the scams are just huge, absolutely huge. Anything to part money from your pockets, and they're going to ask for like different ways to do it. Send us money via Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, all these things. And we're going to tell you what to watch out for here. We're going to discuss the issues, and we're going to tell you how to avoid these scams. So let's start with websites. All right. So I notice this a lot in the reloading areas. Or if you're searching for specific hard to find items that are out there. And there are a lot of hard to find items out there. So, like, it doesn't matter if you're into, yeah, if you're trying to watch what you need to do. How do I rephrase this? It doesn't matter what form of outdoor activities you are. When something's hard to find out in the wild, everyone's sold out. Reloaders find this a lot, especially with primers and powder. Bullets you can always get, but primers and powder are sometimes a nightmare to find. But kayakers, archery, sometimes something's new, it's hard to find, and you'll go searching for it with Google searches or whatever browser you're going to use or engine, search engine. So let's just say hypothetically that you're a reloader, right? But this works with everybody. I just want to give you the things to watch for. So hypothetically, let's say I'm looking for Hodgkin's H1000 powder. It's hard to find, consistently hard to find. As a matter of fact, I got the very last 8 pound container of H1000 from Cabela / Bass Pro Shops. And it'd be sent to me, sent to my local Bass Pro Shops from across the country. And it was the only one that they had. And now it's gone. And, I mean, you can't find it at Bass Pro Shops at all. And that's, the problem is when you're looking for a specific, thing, and primers are hard to find sometimes. But if you're looking for a specific firearm, I'm looking for a specific crossbow that's hard to find, or uh, there's a kayak I want. It doesn't matter. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to do a search. And what I want you to pay attention to is if you can't find it at all the reputable sites, like so for powder, I mean, you have Powder Valley, Cabela's / Bass Pro Shops, Midwest, all these big companies, Brownells, everyone knows those companies. It's easy to get a hold of them. And if you can't find what you're looking for at known locations, what's going to pop up is these other locations, and you're going to go to those websites. And what I want you to be aware of and being able to tell if it's a scam are several things. So let's just talk firearms. So a lot of sites will say PayPal us. Well, the problem with PayPal is you can't use PayPal if it has to do with firearm equipment, right? So firearms predominantly. So a lot of well-known sites that actually take PayPal will say this item is not eligible for PayPal, right? So if they're saying it's not eligible for PayPal, but yet you go to another site and they say, oh, yeah, we take PayPal, that's a big warning flag. I did a search before the show today, and I want to show you some of the things that you should watch out for when you're searching. So, first of all, if nobody has it in stock, it's just impossible to find. Or if you find a place and it has one, um, but then you find another location that has like, oh, I have 30 of them in stock, and that price is really inexpensive, that's a warning flag. I would not buy from that company. You're probably not going to get what you need. It's not going to show up. So I'm going to show you. I did a search, and I'm going to show you what you're going to see in a lot of these cases. Let me share a screen here, and let me show you. So I went to this site. I've never ordered from this site. They're talking 8 pounds of H1000 powder for $385. This is very hard to find right now, especially in the 8 pounds things, but they had it in stock. Flat rate shipping. Now, when you order things like powder and ammo, there's always a hazmat fee aside from the shipping fee. So here they don't have a hazmat fee. That's another red flag. Flat rate $30. I can get that. Same day delivery $70. Questionable. Here's the things you need to watch for. Right here. Oh, we take Zelle. Right now, I'll tell you right at this very moment, if you send anyone money with Zelle, you will never get that money back. The moment, because Zelle is a second. You hit send, that money goes into their account, and once it's delivered, it's delivered. I accidentally sent money to one of my contacts on a personal note. I went to the wrong person, and I couldn't get a hold of them. And then I went to my bank, and they said, the money's already been, it's already there. We can't do anything to get it back. You have to ask them to send you the money back. So if it's a store and a scammer, you're not getting that money back. So never, ever, unless you know the person personally, like it's a friend, I will never send Zelle. If I'm on like just to deviate for a second here, if I'm on Facebook Marketplace and I'm gonna go pick up something from them, like there's oh, I want to buy that from you. I'll ask them, do you take Zelle? And if they say, oh yeah, I can take Zelle, then what I do is I go there, I inspect the product, and, face to face, and I'm like, okay, this is what I wanted. And then right there in front of them, I'll do Zelle, and I'll Zelle them the payment, and I'll take my product with me. When you're buying online, either through Facebook, like a location like this, where they're asking for Zelle payment, don't do it. Absolutely do not do this. You're asking for problems. Absolutely asking for problems. The other thing that is a huge, huge warning flag is when it says like cryptocurrency and Bitcoins and all that stuff. That's an absolutely no. If you have cryptocurrency and you send it to somebody, that's gone. Absolutely gone. Cash App. No, uh, don't do it. Cash App and Venmo are also big problems. And then, like I said, some of them show you um, PayPal. So the biggest red flags that would prevent me from doing business with anyone, especially on a website or I'm searching for one, is if I can't find it anywhere and this one location has lots of it, red flag. Two, if the price is cheaper or a great deal, huge red flag. This is about the going rate here, but that's still a little cheap. If I see Zelle or cryptocurrency, scammer. Cryptocurrency is the big one. If I see cryptocurrency, I'm immediately assuming it's a scammer, 100%. Um, right here, it's going through all these different things, but you notice that there's no credit card. The only way I can pay for this is Zelle, cryptocurrency, Cash App, or Venmo. No. If they're not going to take a credit card, that's also a massive red flag. So, as much as I want H1000 powder, I would never order, not from here. So, these are big, huge problems. Huge problems. Be very cautious when you're ordering online. Those are big warning signs right there. And I found that site in just seconds, absolute seconds. Um, and what I will do is I'll go to a lot of different sites and I'll search for H1000 powder, and nobody will have it in stock. Or they'll have the 1 pounders, but not the big 8 pounders, which is, of course, what you want, especially if you do a lot of reloading. So I use the H1000 in my 6.5 PRC, 338 Lapua, and 300 PRC, which is one of my next things I'm getting. I just got a 338 Lapua, and it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. So hopefully this next week, or actually maybe this Sunday, I'll take it out and do some shooting with it, and it should be amazing. But regardless of what you're buying out there, if the deal is amazing, that should be a massive warning flag. If you find 2 or 3 sites that have what you're looking for, but nobody else on the planet has it, you need to raise your eyebrow. If they don't take credit cards, but they want Zelle and Bitcoin, if I ever see Bitcoin, scammer. Absolutely a scammer. Just no, absolutely not. And what amazes me is that you'll see these sites here for a long time. I have seen that site for well over a year and it's still up. And people haven't taken it down. The other thing you need to do is if you're on the fence and you're questioning it, type in like a Google search and say, is xyz.com a scam? And then you'll see listings. Like, if you don't see anybody complaining about them and it's been up for a while, it might be okay. Definitely not if it has Bitcoin. I'm just saying, just no Bitcoin. Now, you should also take in consideration that if you start seeing people saying, "Oh, I placed an order, never saw anything, and my money's gone." Yeah, that's absolutely going to happen. So to recap, nobody in the world has it, but these locations. They're asking for Bitcoin or Zelle, but they don't take credit cards. And then do a search on them to ascertain whether or not they have any complaints, right? Now, the link I just showed, or what I just showed you, is that there's like a dozen other locations that do the same absolute thing. My normal rule of thumb is I stick to brands that I can that are reputable. Everybody orders from them, and they have a reputation and so forth. The other thing to look for, now this doesn't necessarily mean it's a scam, but it's something that I question heavily. Now I know several companies out there that do this, that are reputable, but they shouldn't do this. And that's not having a phone number to call. Every company that does sales should have a phone number to call. And then if I'm questioning the site, I'll do a search on Google on that phone number to figure out where it's located. In some cases, I've done searches and found out that it's a Google Voice, a Google Voice number. So it's not even a real number. It's a Google Voice number. It's not like a cell phone or a landline or nothing. It's someone, and that usually screams scammer. Absolutely screams scammer. So there's all these little things that we have to take in considerations, right? And it literally drives me up the wall. When I was searching for H1000 powder, I mean, I spent time and time and time again just searching all over the world for it, and I couldn't find it. And then these other places show up. I'm like, "Oh, that's an awesome deal," and I'm like, "That's great." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute." And when when I did a search on, is this place a scam? Flooded, absolutely flooded, with people saying, "Yeah, this is 100% scam. I don't know why that website's still up, blah, blah, blah." And, these guys are just collecting money. The reason why I tell you that if it's a great deal, question it. When someone's saying, "Oh, I have all this reloading gear and I'll let you have it for $300." And I'll ship it to you, and that's shipping included. And you look at it, and they're like, the shipping alone is going to be 100. So question that, right? And we'll go into Facebook scams and Craigslist scams. Let's talk about these. Anything where, so if I'm searching in my local area, like the Orlando, Florida area here, on Marketplace or whatever, there's marketplace ads on Facebook that I won't touch. I'll look and it'll be, "Oh, wow, that's a Caldwell, brand new in the box, stand," and they'll give a price of like $75, and then I'll do an Amazon search on it, and it's $350, brand new. Well, that price is too good to be true, and then you look at it and it says, "We'll ship to you." If you're here in Orlando, there's no reason why I can't come to you or meet you someplace to pick up that item if you have that item. If you're drop shipping, that's questionable. But the fact is like, "Oh yeah, I'll ship it to you." And I've written to these guys. I'm like, "Hey, is it still available?" "Oh yeah." When can I come get it? It's like, "Oh, we shipped to you." I'm like, "You're 15 minutes from me. Can I just come over and pick it up?" No, we ship only. No. Yes. I don't care how good of a deal it is. The reason why they give you these great deals is they're accounting on your greed, right? If you're like, wow, that deal is spectacular. I'm getting like $600 worth of stuff for $75 and it's still like brand new condition. They're counting on your greed to let you not think. You want to rush in and grab it as quickly as possible. And it's because of that greed in you that you're going to get scammed. And it's just going to absolutely drive you crazy. And you need to keep these things in considerations. I have seen beautiful bear bows for sale at some of these websites and on Facebook. Just an incredible deal. I'm like, that's $1,000 bow. It's advertised brand new in the box, and you're selling it for $200. The greed says snap up that as quickly as possible because that's a great deal. The logic says that you're going to be out $200, right? And you're not going to get anything for what you're asking for. If I can't physically go and pick it up from somebody who has it on Marketplace or Craigslist or whatever, and they're telling me it ship only and the deal's too good, chances are it's a scam. The other thing that you got to watch out for, talk a little bit about Facebook. So somebody will jump into an area like a reloading area, and like I have these, all this parts here. I've got this reloader, and it comes with this, and blah blah blah. And here's some pictures. So what they'll do is you can do an image search of those pictures, right, to see if they're from someplace else, right, like someone else's page and not them. And what they're doing is they're using the pictures to entice you. And then they give you a fantastic price on it. And what we've discovered, researching here, is that they're counting on you to want to snap that up as quickly as possible. So let's say, all right, I'll give you all this reloading gear. I'll give you this bow for this incredibly low price, and it would include shipping. So if the price is really low and it's going to include shipping, huge red flag because shipping is expensive. And then you'll sit there, and if you're going to buy something from somebody and they're going to ship it to you, make sure it's through a known thing. I need you to ship this UPS. I need you to ship this FedEx, US Postal Service, nothing else. Make sure it's very crystal clear. Because now what they're doing is they're using these websites, and it's a fake shipping business, right? And they'll sit there and say, you'll get an alert from these guys because you have to give them your phone number and everything. And they're like, hi, we're from this shipping company, and we have this product for you, but it's being held up in customs, right? And we need you to pay the insurance because if the federal agency sees something that's questionable, you'll be arrested. So, first of all, understand that that's BS. They're not going to arrest you. Okay. So don't let that scare you. Like, it's like the old scam with your taxes. You need to send us, $800 in gift cards, or the police are going to come over and arrest you immediately. All BS. It's all supposed to play on your fears. So what we've seen with these is they'll say, all right, so you need to pay the insurance, but don't worry, you're going to get all that money back uh, after the fact, right? So once it clears, you're going to get the money back. Well, first of all, let's look at everything here. Customs, if you're here in the United States and it's being shipped from, let's say, Louisiana to Florida, it's not customs, right? It's not being held at customs. And they'll say, due to the strict laws in Florida, you need to do the insurance, but don't worry. And then when you refuse to pay the insurance, like, all right, look, I'll cover half the insurance myself, but you got to promise to send me that money once you get your package. This is all a scam because, um, if they want $300 and they say just give us 100, give me 150, I'll cover the other half. Just promise me you'll send it because I want to make sure you get your package. No, you're just going to be out another $150, and you're never going to see anything. And they'll threaten you with police activities and all that stuff, and just say, hey, send it back, whatever. These are all scams, all of them. Just be aware. Um, One of the other things, like we mentioned it briefly, is PayPal. If it's so, PayPal doesn't deal with firearms, right? You can't purchase a firearm, have it shipped to your FFL, and use PayPal. Absolutely can't happen. So if they're accepting PayPal and they're going to ship it to your FFL, that's a scam. And these scams are everywhere. Let's see what else do we have. Like I said, cryptocurrency is like such a big red flag. Uh, Not taking credit cards. We talked about that. Huge red flag. So let's say you want to deal with somebody on Facebook. Now, I have purchased numerous articles through PayPal. Sorry, not PayPal, but through Facebook. But there's ways to identify whether or not these guys are scammers or not. Um, and I've had my items shipped to me. So I've purchased on Marketplace, and the guy's like over there, and he goes, well, I'd be happy to send it to you, but it's going to cost, like this and shipping. And if you're interested, I'll ship it out tomorrow and I'll send you a tracking number, right? So before you purchase anything, look at that individual's profile. And this is an absolute killer. If that profile from this individual is only a couple of months old, maybe has 2 or 3 pictures on it, and maybe a handful of posts, but not many, and the posts are just very generic posts, and overall the posts go back maybe 3 months or less, don't do business with this person. There's been a lot of scammers from India who are creating Facebook posts, and then what they do is they'll start up these groups, so for common interests. Like for instance, let's say they want to do a reloading group, and then you'll see this other guy going. You'll look at his profile, and the profile is very barren, and the deal is really really good. And they'll say something like, hey, look, are you a member of this group over here, which is similar to the group you're in, right? So, are you a member of this group? No. All right. You should be a member of this group, but go ahead and ask the admins about me, right? They can vouch for me that I'm legit. On face value, that sounds good, but it's not. And let me tell you why. That group he sent you to, regardless of what it is, right, is run by a whole group of scammers. So all the admins are scammers like him, and he's probably one of the admins too, with a different name. So when you ask the admins, they're like, "Oh yeah, we've done a lot of dealings with him. He's absolutely legit. Everybody gets what they order from him. You have nothing to worry about." Yeah, you do, right? So um, don't fall for that. Don't let them tell you that it's gonna be okay, and that everybody is, copacetic and everything's working out. And oh yeah, we've dealt with him lots of times. He's really, really good. And then when you post something there, you'll have the admins, jumping at you and like, hey, I'd be interested in this myself, or hey, are you looking for this? I have, these things here. Um, if they send you a picture of them holding like their ID card and your name on it, it's it, no. Look at the date on the ID card. Make sure that it's legit. But people make up fake ID cards all the time, right? And when you see a fuzzy picture online, you have no way of checking it out. So don't fall for these. Don't it's ridiculous that they get away with this. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Hold on a second. Uh, be cognitive of what's going on and what you need. It doesn't matter if it's fishing gear, because I mean, uh, people don't understand fishing gear gets expensive, and when you start looking at some of these reels, and some of these reels cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And so, like, let's say there's a reel that you want for your fishing pole, it's hard to find, and people are charging anywhere from uh $600-700 for this reel. And this guy goes, I have it, I used it once, it's not for me, I'll give it to you for $200. You gotta question that. You absolutely have to question that, because it doesn't make any sense, right? So it doesn't matter whether you're looking at like firearm gear, or if you're looking at um, fishing, hiking. I've seen people put up real expensive hiking poles, dirt cheap, and then people never get them. They'll fork out a couple of $100. Never see it. Never happens. So let's talk a little bit about PayPal that you should know. Let's say someone says, you decide you're actually going to spring and you're going to order something from people either on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, or it doesn't matter. If they ask you to send it friends and family so they don't lose any money on the deal, it's easy for you to say, oh, sure, no problem. But when it comes down to brass tacks, don't do that. You have to treat them like a vendor, right? Like you're buying goods from a company. They're going to take money out. So explain to them, I can't do friends and family. And I'll tell you why. Um, so they take out this percentage, we'll add that to uh, the amount we agreed on, and I'll send it so you're not out really any money. And the reason why you want to do that is PayPal will reimburse you if you never get your goods, or if something goes wrong with a transaction, you'll get your money back. Unless you send the money friends and family. Because if it ends up being a scam, you will never get that back from from PayPal. So keep that in mind. Only do PayPal as a vendor. If you have to put a little more in there, then that's the cost of doing business. Especially if it's a great deal, then you're really not going to be out too much. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But when we look at these things, you need to protect yourself, right? They don't. If a company doesn't take a credit card, don't do business with that company. If they ask for things like cryptocurrency, don't do business with that company. I only pay Zelle if I'm physically going to meet the person and I'm going to have the items in my hand, I'm going to inspect it. And then when I agree to purchase, I'm happy to do Zelle. I have the product in my hands. What you will find with other scammers, like Craigslist, Marketplace, whatever, is they'll say, "Hey, can you pay me half of it in Zelle so I can hold it for you?" Absolutely not, because they'll just close the ad and you're done. So the scammers are out there. I mean, a lot of us are honest people. We want to work with people. I placed an order with somebody out in Texas months and months and months ago. And I was wondering whether I was going to see my goods, but I felt the price was fair, but not too cheap. And what they were quoting me in shipping was reasonable and about the value. And what I had bought is a camera that you set up near a target, and then it would radio back to another pod that you would connect with your Wi-Fi with your cell, and you could actually see close up to the target with this camera. And they're pretty expensive, and this was used, and the price was fair for something used. And like 5 days later, it showed up on my door. So it's not always a scam. But I also looked at his profile, and he'd been there, on Facebook for years, had lots of posts, a lot of pictures, everything. He was established. But I was still kind of like, am I going to be out that money or not? So these are all things you need to take in consideration because it's easy to get scammed. So carefully research. Craigslist. I'll never have anything shipped from me from Craigslist, um, unless I can use like a credit card and it's a store. So when you're on Craigslist, if you Craigslist or Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, ever see anything that says "will ship to you" or "shipping only," don't do it. Especially because the prices, you'll see the price. I'm like, well, that's a fantastic price. I would love to have that for that price. And then they're like, well, we'll ship it. And then you're like, nah, I don't think so. And you're right to not do that. When you're in Facebook and you're in these different groups, especially if they trade or they'll sell items, right? Be very careful. If the price is too good to be true, don't do it. If they will take PayPal, only do it as a like you would with a merchant. All right, we've covered this, but I want to really lock it in your head. Other scams is if you're on the website, and this is what people don't understand is they're like, oh, it's a website, it's great. It's not always great. A lot of websites, especially websites that scam you, will actually have what they call as a drive-by download. And what they'll do is put malicious malware on your system the moment you connect to them. But if you have like good antivirus products, I personally like to use Malwarebytes. That's one of the products I use, and I really like it. Um, you should be fine. You'll get an alert. But if they're trying to scam you, they're trying to scam you in any way possible. Most people do banking on their computers. So if they can do a drive-by download that actually does like a keyboard record or record sessions when you connect to banks and then sends them all that information, these are things you need to be aware of. But yeah, so as just kind of keep in mind that before you turn over money, always think about how you can protect yourself. So in case something goes wrong, you can get your money back. All right. So that's the premise of what you should be looking out for. So let's just kind of think about what we talked about. Price too good to be true? It is. Don't go for it. Impossible to find, right? I've searched everywhere. It's out of stock everywhere, but Key the Wonder Pup here has lots of it in stock, and the price is really good. Hmm. Um, Always buy from reputable locations and places that you can't identify. So if it still looks like a great deal, do a search with the company name followed by "Is this a scam?" and see from there. If they don't have a phone number, that's a red flag as well. Because if I can't call to get an update, or if I have a question and I can't call, something's wrong with that, right? They don't take credit cards on the website, right? So we showed you here. We'll go back over to it real quick, and I'll show it again. Um, to this one site here, if you look, I was trying to order powder, right? We talked about this earlier, but there's no hazmat fee. So understand what you're ordering and what your expectations are, right? So if you're ordering gunpowder and primers, those always have a hazmat fee. And the hazmat fees are anywhere from about $25 to $35 is the normal hazmat fee. Um, Shipping, kind of understand where they are and where you are to see if the shipping's fair. But here's the kick. Like here at this site, they take Zelle, cryptocurrency, Cash App, and Venmo. Um, yeah. And I like this where it says I have read and agreed to the website terms and conditions, but yet I don't really see it down here. And they also have Apple Pay, and they have a chat sessions. So people are like, well, there's chat, but it's never a live person. It's always like an AI chat. So unless you can actually read these conditions, it's questionable. Um, I would never order from this location. They don't take credit cards, and I'm not going to pay in cryptocurrency. I'm not going to give them Bitcoin. Because they're so Bitcoin, you're not going to be able to do like $415 exact with Bitcoin. You're going to have to pay over the amount. Um, and if you do, these guys aren't going to give you your money back. You're going to be out. So there's all this stuff that you have to take in consideration and wonder whether or not you're being absolutely 100% scammed. And it's a shame. It really is a shame that we have people out there trying to steal from us and take our hard-earned money, and that we've worked so we work hard for our cash, right? And we all want good deals because the majority of us aren't rich. I have an outdoor adventure channel, so my cameras and my lighting and everything that I use for my podcast, that costs money. When I'm evaluating products on my YouTube channel, Lupo Outdoors, the majority of the products that I evaluate and review, I pay for out of my own pocket. Or I have a deal with the vendor where um, if a product's given to me, I always tell them that I'm going to give them a 100% fair evaluation of the product. Um, and that if something is off, I'll always contact them first to make sure it's not a me problem, and that I'm not doing something wrong. So I always try to make all my reviews very, very fair. Now, and then I have some vendors who have sent me product to review and evaluate. And I mean, like Mantis Systems sent me pretty much everything they have. ESP Ears sent me their top of the line in ear hearing protection for shooting, and that was like $2,500 worth of hearing protection. And a multitude of these other companies have sent me things like. I just got it in a annealer. I'm going to be doing several reviews. So I have low end cost annealing for brass, mid range, and then in May, I'm getting one of the top of the line annealers sent to me, and I'm going to talk about how they do, and it's gonna be processed because I'll take 5 pieces of brass and we'll do it in the low end, the mid range, and the top of the line, and we'll see how often I can reload those before they burst. And most people say I'll just do the low end, which is fine. Um, if you're doing like 223 brass or whatever that are inexpensive and the rounds are cheap. But I have a 338 Lapua and I have 6.5 PRC, and that brass isn't cheap. Um, uh, One thing that I found, and we're going to be doing a full review of my 338 Lapua Magnum rifle that I recently got. I name my rifles, so this has nothing to do with scams. I'm just think it's a funny story here. I named my rifle. So when I did my quest to 1,000 yards, we named that rifle Rob's Zombie Slayer, and then the match grade rifle that I built from scratch, I named Goblin Slayer. So I named my 338 Lapua Magnum rifle Happy Meal, and the reason why I named it Happy Meal is every time you shoot that rifle, each round costs about the amount of a McDonald's Happy Meal. So I thought that was kind of clever. Um, and it makes me cry. So when I'm talking brass, when some of the really high end brass can be up to anywhere from $3 to $5 just for the brass, it makes sense to try to uh, make that last as long as it can. So there's times you're going to use a low end annealer, a mid grade, and the high end annealer. So watch for that. Make sure you check out my channel if you're new to the podcast here. The channel is called Lupo Outdoors on YouTube. And we have it on Instagram. We have an Instagram and a Facebook page and so forth. I love answering questions. Please put comments down below. Let me know what you would like me to review and check out. We are going to have some raffles during our live shows coming up. And what it'll do is, well, and this is mostly for people watching the live show. So if you're in my chat and I can see you, I will ask several questions based on the topic and track everybody who answers them correctly. And then if there's multiple people who have the same number of right answers, we'll randomly select one or two of those for prizes that we'll ship out the next day out to you. So please come and join us live. We're live on YouTube every Friday from 5:30 to 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. So check out our channel. Please like and subscribe. Now, my background is in cybersecurity, right? So my real-time job is cybersecurity. So I deal with fraud and I deal with scammers all the time. Another thing you should watch out for is emails, right? So If you're on Facebook and part of your info is public and you have an email there, scammers will often use that email to contact you and said, and they have your name because your Facebook profile is right there. So things I recommend doing is not. I would make your information private, share only with friends, and I don't put phone numbers on Facebook, and I don't put emails on Facebook. If I have a website that people can go check out, or my YouTube channel, I'll put that up there. But you don't want contact to come necessarily back to you. If somebody needs to contact you, they can use the Facebook Messenger. So keep that in mind, guys. You need to secure yourselves. So that being said, there's only about 8 minutes left. I've kind of covered all the things. Let me know what you would like to see in the podcast and in our channel. Watch our channel. We have a lot of stuff right now on SHOT Show. We did a ton of interviews, so many interviews. So we're putting those up. So we are now posting twice a week. We post on Sunday and we post on Wednesdays. So those are our long forms. We have a bunch of shorts on the channel. We have the short that's released at 11 a.m. These are all Eastern Standard Times. Is always about fishing currently. And there are fishing tips, and it's called, Tips I Wish I Knew before. And they're valuable tips on helping you with any kind of fishing. And then at 3 p.m., we post every single day another short, and it has to do with hunting. And those shorts right now, as of this current time, we are focusing on black bears on the hunting, but we have a whole slew dealing with elk, deer, mule deer, and so forth. And there are tips on how to track, things you should look for, and so forth. And we're going to continue those. So check out our shorts. There's a lot of really great information in there. And that being said, I want to thank you very much for listening to our podcast and joining us. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Feel free to hit us up on Facebook or Instagram or even on YouTube, and let us know what you think of the videos and what you would like to see in upcoming videos. And we'll see you real soon.